We've used stuff that didn't work, we threw it away. We've used stuff that did work, we kept it. The NLP side of things, the psychology side of things, really helped carve out this $200 million system, okay, which works very simply. It's very basic, and it's all about putting the client first. Now, there's a brainwave, right? Putting the client first is so important. And this is what many people don't do. They say, oh, we do this and we'll do that, and this is what they don't listen to the client, right? But our whole system is based around getting the positioning as an authority in the first few seconds, first couple of minutes, the resonance with the client, unconscious rapport. The opening statement gives you that credibility to then ask questions, okay? And we'll be covering this in my $200 million system tomorrow. Each step by step, we'll be covering this to show you how to get the client to open up and start to share with you pain points, desires, and the real stuff, not just the presenting stuff, the real stuff. And when they talk, you get that trust, that credibility, okay? We'll be going into that in tomorrow, okay? So you guys should be super excited for that, because it breaks down everything you need to become a great salesperson. And what will that mean to you? If you're a great salesperson, you can work from wherever around the world you want to work. You can be in Portugal like me. You can be at home with your loved ones. You can be traveling. As long as you've got an internet connection and a laptop, you can work. You can control your own diaries. So there is so much to be gained from this skill. You can start your own business. Many of you on here already have your own business, right? So you can start your own business. Actually, guys, tell me again on the chat, if you have your own business, say yes, just so I can get an idea of numbers, and I'll go straight to the giveaway in just a second. Thank you. Who's excited? Who's excited to see my $200 million system that hundreds of closers are using today successfully? Who's excited? Right, because we have to ask permission every step of the way. As a good closer, a good salesperson, that's what we do. So here, I'm asking permission. So this is Martin. Martin, when he came to me, he was 17 years old. And if you can maybe notice, but we worked on it, he had a really big twitch. Like, he couldn't speak a sentence without really twitching. So the first thing I did was work on his communication. And I think he's done very well. Now, let's stay focused, because what I'd like to cover off today is a little bit more about mindset for high ticket sales, okay? You're working at home by yourself. You need that mindset of, I've got a community, I've got people around me, I've got the tools I need to get to this skill set. Now, who will agree with me? Is having sales skills super important or a bit important? Let's put it on the chat there, guys. I'd like to see your opinion. Is it important? How important is it to be a good salesman or woman or salesperson, right? It's the bloodline of every business. And once you've mastered this art, then you will be able to grow your own business. And even working with us, we have a system in place. Either way, I want to share with you a little bit more about any preconceptions that you are not capable of becoming a high ticket closer, any preconceptions that you're not capable of hitting your goals. And I want to also share with you a little bit more about my story, and so that you guys can resonate that even though you have adversity, if you're coming from adversity, you can always raise up amongst the ashes. You can always become better. And sales for me was that way of becoming better. It was the way of progressing out of poverty, essentially. The quick story on my part, I just want to so you guys know that, a bit more about me as we enter these 5 days, and so that you guys know as well that you can do it. And with mentorship, which is what really got me through and to next levels, was the mentorship I went through, because I was immigrating from Portugal to England when I was 2 years old. I grew up in a very uh, busy central part of London. My mother worked 3 jobs, and my dad was a gambling addict, a bit like Sir Marcus as well. It's quite coincidental, right? Um, my dad was a gambling addict. My mum was working 3 jobs, and as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of a mismatch. So there was quite a lot of violence at home. There's quite a lot of, my dad would argue with my mum, that they start fighting, and we'd see it. Me and my brother being older than me, 4 years older than me, he felt that that was a way to treat someone you love. So he bullied me as well. The point is, the reason I'm telling you this is that no matter where you come from, you can rise above it. And for me, it was finding a mentor. That's me growing up. For me, it was finding a mentor. Even I was 8 years old, I begged my mum, take me to boxing at school, please. They had some boxing lessons. I begged her to take me to this boxing because I had to deal with it. It was more like survival. I saw my brother on the way home from school. We lived in a rough area, getting stabbed, and he lived. But it was just a very violent place. But the important part, and the reason I'm telling you this, guys, is that I found a mentor. Even at the age of 8, it was from survival mode. I needed a mentor to get out there. And by the time I was 17, I was very good at boxing and martial arts. And I eliminated that problem because I found a mentor. But then I wanted more. Okay. I wanted more, and I had a sales passion at the age of 14. Now, back then, this is when I fell in love with sales. And I was working selling shoes in Oxford Circus in central London. And I remember at 14 years old, back then we could get a part-time job and work at the weekends at that age. So I took this job selling shoes, and a large lady came in. I'll never forget. She, large lady, she had a pinstripe suit on, so possibly an accountant or a lawyer or something, but she was quite a big lady. So she sat down, we tried on some shoes. She tried on the shoes, and she was looking at a pair of shoes that we're both looking at them. I was silent at the time. I was only 14. And I looked at the shoes, and she was looking at the shoes, and I said, what felt like an eternity. And I simply said, because I thought they were, I said, they look nice. And she went, right, I'll take them. And I realized right then that when you mean something, this is when I fell in love with sales. At 14, I didn't know it then. When you mean something and you say it powerfully with the right intention, that words are powerful, and it started to intrigue me even back then. I didn't know I was going to pursue this career of sales. I wanted to be a lawyer at the time, but I really saw that, wow, there's something in this. So I started looking for, again, because I didn't have that mentorship at home. I always reached out to the books to get clarity, right? But I wanted more. I started reading when I was in my early 20s, self-development books. But I wanted more. And I found a mentor, a guy called David Key. You can see him there in the picture. And I went to David for some training. I ended up working with him for 3 years and teaching NLP throughout the country. I said, David, I want to work with you. And he said, well, sell my stuff. And I ended up selling 50,000 units of his course, the NLP practitioner course on Groupon. Okay. We absolutely crushed it. So he invited me to work with him. That's how I achieved my NLP status. Okay. And again, guys, the reason I'm telling you this is because it was another mentor that got me to the next levels. And when I say next levels, this is what I mean. I ended up working, because I wanted to, with Sainsbury's. I don't know if any of you guys are, you're not all from the UK, but if the people from the UK, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Tesco's, they're like the UK Walmart. And I worked with Walmart as well. I sold sardines from Portugal because I knew a supplier in Portugal to these supermarkets. And we sold tens of millions of kilos all the back of me believing in myself, believing that I can create this deal, and reaching out to the supplier in Portugal saying, don't pay me. Do you want your stuff in the UK? And they said, yes. I said, well, don't pay me. Just give me an email address. And on the back of a cold call, I got through to these guys, got into their kitchens with the cooking crew. I had my mum actually dressed up as a chef. She's a great chef. And we sold tens of millions of kilos to the supermarkets because I had a mentor that got my belief up so high in my art that I was unstoppable, that I felt I could do anything. Now, this Sainsbury's, to get a deal with Sainsbury's was not easy, but I did it, right? And then Morrison's, Tesco's, and Asda's followed straight away soon after because I believed in it, okay? I had believed, I had the sales skills. I then moved on to working. I don't know if you know this, gentlemen, guys. This is the Jordan Belfort. This is the real Wolf of Wall Street. I got Jordan to work with me on my visual coaching website. Again, Groupon, the Groupon deal. They asked me to find him. I did. I had to fly to Vegas to meet with one of his mutual friends to get his mobile number. It took me 6-7 months to do, but I ended up working with Jordan Belfort because I mastered my art of sales. Because now I can choose who I want to work with, okay? And you'll know what I mean. When you have this skill, I've taught so many guys that have started their own business because they can sell for themselves, all right? And that's a natural part of this progression. You know, you become a great closer, you will start your own business because you can do it yourself, right? So I'm always happy about that. And I never feel that it's something that, wow, you know, they left me. No, that is a natural progression. I went on to work with Sir Marcos, you know, an amazing young man who is a fantastic marketer. And just together with his marketing skills, and you guys can also gain from his marketing skills, by the way, because his co-authoring international best-selling book offer is amazing. It gives you credibility online as the go-to person, so you can get leads. But when you get those leads, you need closers to close them for you, all right? So either you learn how to do that part yourself, or you can hire a team like us, not cheap, all right? Okay, so we've also worked with Mac Hatcham. Wow, an amazing guy. Again, this guy travels the world with Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I've had a glittering career. And I'm not trying to show off to you guys or impress you. I'm trying to impress upon you that you're in the right place. If you want to learn this skill, we have got a system. There is a system, and we know it. Okay, we've cracked that code, and we've got the scripts that cover each step of delivering that system. Andy Harrington, Matt Wilson, two other legends in the online space. You know, Andy Harrington's like the UK Tony Robbins, although he's half the size. No, excuse me. Matt Wilson is just a marketing genius and a legendary person that creates events, big events with people like Stephen Bartlett, etc. So I've had the pleasure of working with these guys. Excuse me. And again, coming from the adversity that I came from, there's no excuses for you guys. There's no excuse. You can work hard with the right tools and the right mentorship. You too can be a high ticket closer, or you too can scale your business. Okay. Tell me in the chat if this is all making sense, guys. I know I'm talking a lot. I just need you guys to know that you're in the right place, that we've got the skills and the tools to get you to become this specific mastery in, okay? Shakir Hussain, another guy I worked with for about 3 years, teaching his sales trainers, his closers, how to close. He is a fantastically successful